Hello everyone, Redbeard here back at it again, and today I wanted to talk about some of the things of interest that I've picked out from the different showcases, Twitters, blogs about the Chaos Dwarves, and just go over that, give some thoughts. So let's start with the start positions. So for Astrogoth, we have, and by the way, the left is the Realms of Chaos and the right is the Immortal Empires, if you hadn't guessed that already. Astrogoth starts in Uskalak and both, which this is the first Chaos Dwarf settlement in lore. So it makes sense that the oldest of the Chaos Dwarves is going to be starting there. It's a great position strategically because you have a defense from anything chaotic trying to come from the north. If you aren't allied with them in some way. And you can just focus on conquering south into the Darklands and reclaiming all of the Chaos Dwarf territory and shoring that up against any threats from any direction. The biggest people that are probably going to be threats to you early on are like Grimgor, maybe Azhag, maybe when Neferata comes, she'll be in the Silver Pinnacle, which is close. Other than that, it's pretty smooth sailing, unless Archaon decides to come down and wreck shop that way, but I don't know, you could probably get an alliance with them. Then we got Drazoath. So Drazoath starts in the Black Fortress, which is very, very loreful. I wouldn't want him to start anywhere else. In the Realms of Chaos, he also starts with the Flayed Rock settlement. Yeah, at least in Immortal Empires, you're going to be facing a lot of different people in the south of the Darklands, like Greasus Goldtooth, Helman Gorst, Kugath Plaguefather, Emric, Tretch Craventail, maybe Nagash at some point, over in Nagashazar. Yeah, really love this start position. Gives us a southern Darklands start position for the Chaos Dwarves. So we got one in the north, one in the south. And then it makes the most sense that Zhatan, in the Immortal Empires at least, will not start in the Darklands. I really love his start position, especially lorefully. So, he is the top guy to go on an expedition to go get a bunch of slaves, basically. Just he takes his host. He's the best general the Dawei have. So he just takes his army, and he can definitely exit the Darklands and go pick up a bunch of slaves and then bring them back. And what better place than the Eastern Steppes where the Hobgoblin Khanate lives? I mean, Hobgoblins are some of their best slaves, so it makes sense that he would go over here to get slaves. In the Realms of Chaos, he just starts in the Darklands like everybody else, which is fine. But yeah, he might, start fighting Grimgor, or Kolek, or, Village, the Curseling. Yeah, and he starts with he starts in the Gates of Zar, in the Realms of Chaos, and in the Immortal Empires, he starts with two settlements, the Volary and Granite Spikes. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful, wonderful start. Alright, so now let's talk about some of the mechanics we've seen from both the Drazoath and Zhatan gameplay showcases. Okay, so the Hellforge looks amazing. It looks like a hybrid between the Beastman, Dread mechanic, where you get those unit caps, and you can unlock different units by using in this case, armaments, and the Beastman's case, it's Dread. But it's also, so if you see, there's the Armory tab, and then the Manufactory tab, which the Manufactory tab looks like it is like a version of the Chaos, not the Chaos, the regular Dwarves Forge. But in my opinion, it looks more powerful. So, as you can see on the right, Well, in the middle, it looks like you might be able to pick different types of units. So in this case, it's showing melee infantry. But, assumedly, you could also pick range infantry or monsters or war machines or whatever. But on the right, you see the Forgecraft options, and that there's also armaments upkeep for each. So you can, from the Let's Play, we could see that you can place multiple of these on a select group of units. So not just one unit. It's not like a banner or something. You can place it on all 5 of those melee infantry. Spell resistance, frenzy, charge reflection. Then it goes on to sundering attacks, immune to contact effects, causes fear, physical resistance, glittering scales, which all have a certain amount of armament upkeep. So as long as you have enough, you're managing your armaments well enough, which we'll get more into, you could have some very powerful buffs to all your Chaos Dwarf units. Looks amazing. But yeah, another note on the whole unit caps thing. I think, personally, I like unit cap mechanics being implemented where they make sense, like for the Beastmen or for Tomb Kings or for Dreadsaurians or Mistwalker units, right? And then you just make you get these really cool, powerful units that would be probably unbalanced if they didn't have some sort of unit caps. So, in this case, we'll talk about, the Infernal Ironsworn, which have a huge stat line. Things like Fire Glaives, I think, have a huge stat line, too. And, oh, man. We get to have these very, very powerful units. But due to balance, we can have them, due to the upkeep balance, or the unit cap. Okay, so the only thing I have to say for the convoy mechanic is, oh my god, you can get black dragons with the Chaos Dwarves. But that's the only unit we even know of, right? There could be anything from, Dark Elves roster, or any of the Mono God rosters, or the Warriors of Chaos, or the Norska roster, or those are that's probably the scope of what it's limited to. Maybe the ogres. So I kind of think maybe there's a unit for each of those races, maybe one unit for each race, which makes the mind spin. Oh my gosh, what? Tell me in the comments what unit you would like to see being able to recruit from each race for the Chaos Dwarves from the convoy mechanic. On a further note to that, I really hope that they do the same thing for Cathay. So for Cathay, I believe you can get a hero instead of a unit in the Chaos Dwarfs case, but it doesn't really work that well. I think this adding a kind of centerpiece cool unit from whatever race you're dealing with. So basically I think just make Cathay the Order Tide version of that. So if you are, let's say, trading with, I don't know, Bretonia, maybe you can get one unit of Hippogriff Knights. Or if you're trading with the Empire, you can get a unit of Demogryph Knights. Or better yet, maybe a Steam Tank. What else? If you're trading with the Dwarves, you could get, I don't know, a Magma Cannon or something. Ideas like that. Tell me in the comments what you think, what units you'd like to see Cathay be able to do with their Caravan mechanic. Alright, so now let's just quickly talk about the labor economy and structures and whatnot. So for the labor economy, it looks a lot kind of like the old Dark Elf mechanic, just a little more spruced up, which, by the way, Can we get something like this back to the Dark Elves? Because I don't know, the Dark Elves, the new. I definitely like the Dark Elves better in Warhammer 2. I'm not a huge fan of the changes that they made to Warhammer 3. But anywho, yeah, everything looks good. You can like transfer different laborers to different provinces with those arrows on the right. We don't know what those 3 labor actions are. I don't think, unless we do, and if somebody knows what those are, tell me in the comments. That'd be cool. Yeah, so that, and so you can transfer around laborers, and depending on how many laborers you have, you can, I guess, sacrifice laborers to instantly construct settlements, which is super powerful, super duper powerful. Love that mechanic for the Chaos Dwarves. So you can just like, they showed it in the showcase that like you can just build up a garrison real quick so that you don't get rolled over, or whatever you want to do. Build up a certain building so you can unlock certain units or whatever. We also see this building that gives army ability Dreadquake Battery, which, so basically it seems like we have some buildings here, this prototype Mega Mortar, that can give army abilities similar to the Vampire Coast, which is very, very fitting. So yeah, really like all this. Alright, so the big thing I want to touch on as far as campaign mechanics is the Drill of Hashut, which I believe is a Realms of Chaos exclusive mechanic. Could be wrong on that, but I'm fairly positive. I think this is just, the objective, the story campaign basically is based around this mechanic. So, yeah, there are lesser and greater relics of the old world dwarves that you are trying to basically steal from the Chaos Dwarves and corrupt to help you build the Drill of Hashut and break into his realm and get his blood and whatnot. So yeah, this is a really cool idea for a mechanic, I think. Some really powerful abilities coming along with it. So like we see the Healing Salve of Alea, enables replenishment in foreign territory, control +5, melee defense, and physical resistance for everybody in army, which is all pretty good. It's not like crazy powerful, but it's definitely good. The ability you get with it, it's like an army ability, is 3 uses of Darkened Mist, which is basically like a really powerful version of Flock of Doom, a direct damage spell. Really, really good. But then you also get Conclave Influence, so it looks like the buffs are going to be nice and substantial for getting each relic. Yeah, looks like a great mechanic. I think, I don't know if I want to do Astrogoth or Drazoath for the Realms of Chaos story campaign. I don't know yet. I don't know. Alright, so now let's get into the juicier stuff, in my opinion, is the looking at the unit stats. Okay, so for the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, okay, so they have 85 armor and shield, so this aligns with like Dwarf Quarrelers. 34 melee attack, 39 melee defense, 54 weapon strength. So these guys can easily double as a melee unit. But then on top of that, they have ammunition 33, and that's taking out about a little over a quarter of their ammo. So they have like 40 something ammo, right around 40 ammo, a little more. Not a huge math guy. But range 90, obviously it's a shotgun, it's not going to have crazy range, but 66 melee strength and armor piercing. Holy crap. Okay, that's going to be a very, I think that's like a tier 2 unit, I'm not sure, but wow, really powerful. Obviously it has unit caps, but wow, really excited to use some of these units. Like, ooh. Okay, and then Let's see. No, not them. Okay, looking at their upgraded version. Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives. Okay, so 115 armor, no shields, obviously. 37 melee attack, 56 melee defense, and their melee attacks do fire damage and suppressive damage. That might be coming from the Hellforge mechanic, I'm not sure. Then 34 weapon strength, armor piercing, and anti-large. So these guys can take a charge. Do they have charge reflection? Yes, they have charge reflection. Or charge defense, not charge reflection. And so yeah, pretty tanky unit, can definitely double as a melee unit. Ammunition 28, but that's about half their ammo down, it looks like. So again, they're gonna have plenty of ammo. 145 range, it's pretty in line with like Empire handgunners, I think. But 53 missile strength. This is on an 80 entity unit. 53 missile strength with suppressive and armor piercing damage. So that suppressive is like the Rattling Gunner's ability, which slows enemies down. So, holy crap. Yeah, the Infernal Guard, I think, are probably the most doom stackable unit. I say that, but, again, all these units are going to have unit caps. So it probably won't be until, like, the late game that you're able to doom stack any one unit. Maybe, like, I think probably the most powerful, like, auto-resolve army is probably going to be, a front line of maybe 4 Infernal Ironsworn, a handful of Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, and a handful of Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives. That's probably going to be the best doom stack that you can get. And, maybe you have, a Dreadquake mortar in there too, or something. Yeah, that's going to be insanely powerful if you can get a full stack of that. Infernal Guard with great weapons. 127 armor. I think all of them had 26 speed, which is pretty slow, but I mean, obviously the dwarves. Melee attack 44 and melee defense 61. And again, this is like a tier 3 unit maybe. Weapon strength 44 and armor piercing. So really powerful. I think it's funny that the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses seem to have more weapon strength than the melee focused units, but whatever, I guess. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I don't know. So yeah, this is also a very good unit. Not much to say on this one. But moving on to the final unit, I want to talk about Infernal Ironsworn. These guys have a massive stat line. Okay, so the first big one, the big one, is 152 armor with silver shields, it looks like. I don't know any unit in the game that has a base stat armor that high. That's nuts. That is a ton of armor. Things are gonna be whatever unit is attacking is gonna have to have some serious armor piercing to do any real damage to these guys. In this case, their leadership is at 111, which basically means they're unbreakable. Melee attack 56 with magical and fire. I've talked about in my speculation videos that they should have magic and fire damage because of their ensorcelled hand weapons. 82 melee defense. So basically, the overview of these guys is they are a stronger version of Ironbreakers. Obviously, I have unit cap, so that's fine. Totally fine. I'm more than fine with it. That they are this strong. Oh my god. Okay, weapon strength 42. Again, how did Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses have, what was it, 50 whatever weapon strength, and Infernal Ironsworn have 42? It does not make sense to me, but, maybe more will be revealed and it'll make more sense. I don't know. But anyways, these are guys a lot like Ironbreakers. So in that they have like a grenade ability, which maybe has 2 or so ammo, with range 70 and missile strength 43 with armor piercing, but it's also explosive. So that's not a total indicator of how much damage it's going to do. It's going to do a whole bunch of damage. Yeah, so the Infernal Ironsworn are going to be insanely powerful. They're probably going to be very expensive for multiplayer. I don't really look at that stuff, but probably one of the most hard to get their unit caps up, but I'm not sure. But yeah, let's move on to the Death Shriek and the Dreadquake Mortar. So for the Death Shriek, speed of 20, so it's your typical slow-moving artillery, but it's a one-man artillery, kind of like Little Grom. 200 weapon strength as far as melee and anti-infantry, but really low melee stats, so you probably don't want to do that. Looks like it has somewhere around 40 to 50 ammunition, magical and fire damage, which it absolutely should have. And just like I speculated, it comes from the tabletop rules, that it has 2 types of ammo, kind of like the Eagle Claw bolt thrower. One is I forget the names. The Death Shrieker rockets are the ones that explode in the middle of the air, kind of like the Skaven's poison wind mortars. And then I forget the name of the other ammo, but it's doesn't explode in the middle of the air and is probably better for taking out large targets. But yeah, range 420, that's nothing to scoff at, and missile strength 197 with armor piercing. So it looks like they put it more in line with like the Eagle Claw bolt thrower than per se the Hellstorm rocket battery, I think, but still should prove to be a very, very, very good unit. Where are you, Dreadquake? So this one doesn't show a lot of missile strength either, but I think that's very deceiving. Because I think it's very much going to be in line with Queen Bess, if not better, because of its seismic ability, or collision attacks, it says here. So, we've seen it in the Let's Play where it, after it hits the ground, it creates the seismic quake that's going to slow and possibly damage all the units after the initial explosion. Range 380, that's very good. Not bad melee stats either, but that's because it's attached to the train. You have to have the train in order to have the Dreadquake Mortar, it seems, which very much makes sense. You can't nobody can push that thing around by hand, it's way too heavy and big. Also looks like it has some sort of ability. Actually, I think this is the same ability that goes along with, where are you? The Iron Demon, which is, it is the same ability. More power. More! Which gives it, I think all the trains, so the Skullcracker, the Iron Demon, the Dreadquake Mortar, which are, I guess, are 3 variants. I wish we had all the variants that are loreful, but that's okay. I think I'm very happy that we're getting what we're getting, at the very least. This is kind of like the bare minimum of the trains for me, but I'm still very happy. Acceleration plus 200%, mass plus 50, and speed plus 25. So choo-choo. is what that ability should be called. Choo choo. Chugga chug. Chugga 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 choo choo along. So yeah, that'll make it so you can really charge into units. As far as the Skullcracker, we don't see its stats or abilities. I hope it has a special ability where you can. Well, it should have Wall Breaker, by the way. If it doesn't, mods, please add. If it doesn't, it definitely should have Wall Breaker. It should be able to do significant damage to gates, and I've speculated about it in my previous videos. Lorefully, if there's any blockades in a settlement, it should be able to just one-shot those. I don't think they'll do that in game, but hopefully it has some sort of ability that allows it to do significant damage to those, so it can get through those quickly. But that is to be seen. The last thing... Oh, well, hold on. I showed... Oh, also, we see the Bull Centaur stats here. Does armor sundering damage for its melee attacks, anti-large and armor piercing. Its stats are great, you know. It's a nice hero unit. I showed the Sorcerer Prophet unit card in a previous video, but if you guys didn't see that, here you go. This is its version on the Lamasuit, or not the Lamasuit, the Bale Taurus. So 56 melee attack with flaming damage, 90 armor, 54 melee defense, 637 armor piercing weapon strength, 80 charge bonus. So, but then he also has 45 ammunition with a range 110 and missile strength 142 with armor piercing and whatever that other ability is. I don't know what that is. Missile strength. So, very versatile character, the Sorcerer Prophets, or in this case, I think this is a Demon Smith on a Lamasuit, or Bale Taurus. Very versatile character. Good in melee, good as a ranged, good as a spellcaster. Get everything with this character. It's incredible. And you get the breath attacks from the Bale Taurus. Like, you get everything. So you're going to want to get as many Demon Smiths as possible. And then for the Lord choices, like, you're going to want to try to take Sorcerer Prophets every time. I don't know if there's going to be unit caps on Lords, because otherwise I don't know if you're going to be picking Overlord very often. Hard to say. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about is Zhatan the Black and his unit stats. So here we see that on his Lamasuit he gets... it looks like he doesn't get both of the bound spells. I think you're supposed to get 2 bound spells on the Lamasuit. I think you're supposed to get the Withering and Enfeebling Foe. Which, if he does get both, is going to be insanely powerful with his stat line. So he has 105 armor, leadership 99, so practically unbreakable. 85 speed on his Lamasuit. 49 melee attack. Is that right? 49 melee attack. Oh, well, on foot, it seems he has 64. Okay, so that's a little different on foot, obviously. On foot, he has 112 armor. What? No, it says 91 speed. Okay, well, now I'm confused. Okay, well, in one place it says 91 speed, 64 melee attack, 73 melee defense. The melee attack is armor sundering and magical damage. Weapon strength 873 with anti-large and armor piercing. Charge bonus 63. In the other place it says almost the same, but 49 melee attack, which is significantly less, so I'm not sure. And it says charge bonus 45 and 85 speed. And armor 105. I don't know. I'm a little confused because I'm seeing different things in different places. But either way, he's got, between that stat line and the 2 bound spells, which reduce melee, defense, attack, armor, leadership, he is going to be one of the best duelists in the game. Like, whoo, like up there with like Tyrion and Ungrim and Kolick and Archaon and Scarbrand. Like, he's going to be up in that pantheon for sure. Like, he looks very powerful. Then he has this sadistic snare ability, which reduces 2 uses of that. It's got reduces melee defense and pins the character. They cannot move. Then he has some armor ability here, which I think comes from his legendary item, which I'm not sure what it does. So yeah, Zhatan, with all his items and abilities and his mount, is going to be one of the best duelists in the game. Maybe top 5, maybe even more. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it plays out, but yeah, insanely strong Zhatan the Black. Alright, so I think that about covers everything I wanted to talk about as far as we've seen for the blogs and the showcase, the gameplays and whatnot, and the Twitters and all that. As far as further videos for the Chaos Dwarves, I don't think there's going to be anything substantial that I'll want to cover between now and the release. You know, I'm not one of the big content creators that, you know, gets early access and all this stuff. So, you know, I'm not going to try to compete with that in any way, because that's pointless, futile. But I do have some other videos that I'm working on. I was working on Norska speculation before the Chaos Dwarf hype train started rolling. I kind of shifted gears. I might talk about some greenskins and old dwarfs speculation. Oh yeah, and one more thing. In the Zhatan gameplay, we saw Valmir von Rakov being battled against, which, you know, it might just be some random lord that they picked because he was there, but maybe, just maybe, it's like a little tiny Easter egg hint type thing towards future Empire DLC, because the Empire needs more elector counts, specifically, like Marius Leitdorf and Boris Todbringer, and maybe this is a wink at Valmir von Rakov coming too, which I don't think Valmir is, you know, in the top 3 or even 4 characters that are missing from the Empire, but, you know, it's just a thought. Yeah, so, when the Chaos Dwarfs release, I will be away on business, unfortunately, so when I get back, I'll be making some videos on the campaign. You know, I talked about it a little bit, but I'm not sure who I'm ready to play first. For the Realms of Chaos, it's going to be Astragoth or Drazwath for sure. Zhatan, I think the least interesting start position of like the 6 options, right? So, I think is Zhatan the Black in Realms of Chaos. Least interesting. But on the other hand, I think he has the most interesting start position in the Immortal Empires of the 6 campaigns. And I think it'll become more interesting when the Hobgoblins, you know, maybe get released in a couple years' time or something. I think Hobgoblins are definitely on everyone's radar at this point. So I think we will get them in some form at some point. But I think that'll come after, like, Koresh, after Ind, after Dogs of War, you know. So it'll be a couple years, probably, before we see that. But when that comes, or if, I think Zhatan in that start position will be really fun, particularly. But yeah, so I think, tell me in the comments who you're most interested to play, or if you want to see a particular campaign, you want to see me play a particular campaign on, like, Legendary or whatever. I think, yeah, Drazwath or Astragoth for Realms of Chaos will be my first go. I'm not sure with the Immortal Empires yet. But yeah, tell me in the comments what you guys are feeling, thinking, wanting to see from me. Yeah, keep riding the hype train, everybody. We're going to be watching a lot of these big content creators start playing tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys are having a great day. And I'll see you for more soon. Bye, guys.